All right, Dr. Hicks, I have a question for you. So
Shoot.
I've been sleeping, I feel like I'm sleeping pretty good sometimes, but after I sleep, I don't know, 7, 8 hours a night, why do I feel like I haven't rested at all? Like I'm waking up, I'm like, what just hit me? I mean, what's going on there most likely?
If I had a dime for every time I heard that one, it is a big deal in America. In the way that we live in today's world, sleep is an issue. There's a multitude of different things. It can be 5G, it can be watching too much screen time, it could be a low metabolism, low blood sugar. There is a bunch of different things. Most of it is going to go into stress, what we call the sympathetic or the parasympathetic nervous system. We tend to live in the sympathetics, what we call the fight or flight. And when we live in that, the physiology of our body changes. Our heart rate's going to go up, our eyes dilate, respiration goes up. We're in a heightened state of awareness to deal with all of the trash that's going on and everything in the high stress of the world. And we live fast paced lives. So getting our bodies to calm down after that can be an issue. Now, we've got different stages of sleep, REM, stage one, two, threes, and fours. It's that stage four that is deep sleep. Stage four is where our body actually heals itself. Very important for our bodies to be in that REM4 sleep in there. So people that are light sleepers, they may dip into, stage one, two, and then come back to two, one, and then down like that. It is that deep stage four that's where we get our rest. That's where our body repairs. So to answer your question simply, people may just feel tired because their body hasn't had time to heal.
Hmm.
And that is the key thing. Men and women are different when it comes to sleep. There's been some studies that have been done that women typically need more time in deep sleep, men need less. Now, here's the problem in the man's world is that we think that if we sleep too much, we're not really a man. I got to get up early. I got to tackle the day. And there's this psychological thing of if we sleep, we're lazy. Not necessarily the case. There's a different timeline that people need to sleep. When I was in school, we were taking way too many classes, and I basically slept from 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning, day after day after day. I went through on a fast track when I was going through school. I was taking 28 college credit hours per semester. So that's a lot. One semester, I did 34. That almost killed me, but 34 hours in one semester. I believe that they say that 12 hours is full time. When I went to school in the beginning, you had to have 18 hours to be a full time college student. I was taking, like I said, one semester 34. So sleep was not a thing. I mean, as from 1 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning is when I slept. And then I drank coffee all day long. But when I went to sleep, I was dead to the world. This is a good thing to know is that when I sleep, a tornado can go through the backyard. I have no clue. I wake up and I'm like, whoa, did it rain? What happened? So I don't even wake up. It's one of the things my wife hates about. She can shake me, kick me, do all kinds of stuff. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm in that really deep stage four sleep. And again, that's where our body heals. So the more time you spend in stage four, the less time you need to sleep. Now, in today's society, I'm probably sleeping 7 to 8 hours. That's kind of my normal now. I typically try to get to bed by midnight and then I'm up by 6:37. That's kind of my normal thing. It tends to work for me. If I get more than that, then I am fatigued. So it's going to be different for everybody. The study I read said women should have somewhere between 8 and 9 hours a day. Men were sometimes between 6 and 8. So depending on where it is. But then that comes back to the question, Doc, I'm getting those hours of sleep and I do this, but something's not right. And that's where we need to dig in. Labs are going to be a really key thing to have a functional doctor look at labs. We're looking through the eye of how does the body function. I'm not necessarily looking for pathology. Obviously, if pathology is there, we're going to look at that too. When you go to a medical doctor, that's what they're looking at. They're looking for straight disease, straight pathology. Oh, you have this number, it means X. Here's the disease. Here's the protocol to fix it. We want to catch stuff way before that happens. And so when you do labs, blood labs at a functional doctor, again, we're looking at it totally different. than what we would do if we're just looking for pathology. So having your blood numbers analyzed, we're going to find out, are you running in the sympathetics? Do we have too much inflammation? Is vitamin D levels too low? I mean, there's a lot of different things about sleep. And sometimes it's just sitting down and taking a history of, are you watching Seinfeld right before you go to bed? I mean, it's like, are you watching your screens? Are you scrolling they call it doom scrolling. I've done it myself. It's like, whoa, it's been 2 hours and I just found out somebody's cousin's aunt has a new dog. It's these funny things that happen. It's like, what am I doing?
Right.
And so looking at that. Now, here's one of my favorite things, and this is going to be great for anybody that hears this. I have a hard time going to sleep. My brain never stops. It just runs. And the worst thing I can possibly do is to be in a quiet, dark room. If I'm ever in a quiet, dark room, my mind goes crazy in that. And it's been this way all of my life. So when my wife and I were dating, one of the first questions I asked her, I'm like, do you like to watch TV to go to bed? And because I couldn't go to sleep without the TV on, I'll put some show on the TV and set the sleep timer. And then it keeps my attention on the TV, but then allows me to go to sleep without thinking of everything else that's going on. So, Morgan Freeman, phenomenal voice. I love to narrate. I recorded everything Morgan Freeman did. He did a series on the wormhole. And I recorded. I knew what was going to happen, so I could go to sleep. So again, I asked my wife, do you like, oh, I love to watch TV to go to sleep. So we get married. We're in bed. I've got the TV on. She goes, what are you doing? I'm watching TV.
Like we discussed this.
It's time to go to bed. Turn the TV off. I'm like, no. Wait. I asked you before we got married, do you like to do this? She goes, I know. I lied about it. Now shut the TV off. And I'm like, whoa. And so now I'm back to in a quiet, dark room with my mind racing. And I fought this for a really long time. Here's the key. This is what everybody needs to hear. Frequency is absolutely imperative when it comes. They've come out with headphones that are bone conduction. I have a pair that are called Shocks, SHOKZ. Shocks headphones. I can't stand things to go in my ear, and these go around the ear and they set on the bone and they create vibration. And so they have mapped the brain of what frequency does the brain put off when you're in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 REM sleep, and different waves that go through that. So, and they have the, beta, gamma, delta waves. Delta are the slowest waves of the brain. And that one is the one that typically works for me. So literally what I do is I put my Shocks headphones on. I set my phone to delta wave REM sleep. And this is the truth. Somewhere between 6 and 10 minutes of putting those on, the frequency that I'm hearing, my brain reacts with that. And then I start creating the delta waves of that. And I go deep into sleep. That puts me into that deep sleep. I don't need that much time to sleep. This is an amazing process. Frequency work in today's society is absolutely amazing. I know I went off the rails on that.
That's great. So the frequency is I love that tip for people, for myself. That's very interesting. Now, what about those who are taking melatonin or they're taking Tylenol PM, and they're just trying to, what are your thoughts on that, Doc?
I've got big thoughts on that, especially melatonin, not so much. That's a natural one. The problem with when we start doing this, these things work for a period of time and then they don't work as much. We need to think of some of these supplements, nutrition that we're taking as herbs, which is what they are. And herbs are a precursor to medicine. That's where medicine came from, is that they go and find this herb that is designed to do whatever. They take the active ingredient in it, change a few of the electrons, and then they can patent it. If you can patent it, then you're going to make a lot of money. You can't patent anything in nature. So herbs, nutrition are the first medicines. That's what we're designed to put into our bodies for these different conditions. And just like medicine, we don't want to take medicine the rest of our lives. If we take medications the rest of our lives, then we're going to develop some of those side effects that come with that. So we need to think of taking some of these supplements for a specific thing. It's like, I can't sleep. I'm going to take some melatonin. Oh, it's great. I fell asleep. We use it for a couple of weeks and then our body should come back to normal. That's not the way that I want things to be done. It's we need the body to work like it's supposed to. The body's fearfully, wonderfully made. It's designed to be healthy, and we're just interfering with all these kind of things. So when it comes to nutrition and herbs, yes, I'm okay with that. Side effects of those are very minimal, but the longer you do them, the more resistance your body gets to these things in that. Now, when it comes to synthetic blends of chemicals, the Tylenol, PM, the sleep aids, all of those things, we're getting into some troubling parts. So it's real quick. I don't want Tylenol mad at me, but here we go. On the bottle of Tylenol, it says do not take for pain for more than 3 days. Don't take for fever for more than 7 days. Something to that effect. It's been a long time since I've read it. But Tylenol is putting that on their bottle, and it says not to take more than 10 days in a row. So my thought is when somebody's taking Tylenol PM, they're pretty much taking it every day because they get into a habit. I can't go to sleep without the Tylenol. Tylenol is a drug called acetaminophen. Acetaminophen is incredibly toxic to the liver. And so by taking this stuff daily, you will develop liver problems. It's going to have some effect on the kidney, some effect on the stomach, but it's mainly causing the liver to be a problem. That's why when you go into your medical doctor and you have liver problems, they say, don't take acetaminophen, take ibuprofen, which is Advil. Ibuprofen is going to be very, very hard on the kidneys and not so hard on the liver. So when we're taking these things that we think are over the counter, and that's the way that it's produced out there, it's made for people to think this is okay. If I can go to Walmart and I can buy a bottle of 500 Tylenol, surely they're not going to give me something that's going to hurt me, right? And that is not the case. That is why Tylenol puts this warning label on the bottle, do not take for more than 3 days for pain, 10 days, or maybe it's backwards. Don't take for fever for more than 3 days, pain for 10 days. They put that warning on there because they have been sued because these things cause issues. So I am not a fan. Medications I'm okay with. We need medications. They save lives. They do what they're supposed to. And I don't have a problem with that short term. But when it comes to taking a medication long term, this is a synthetic blend that is foreign to your body, and your body is going to have reaction to it. So take the medications to get past the symptom at the beginning. If the symptoms continue, something else is wrong. I hear people say this all the time. A headache is not caused because of decreased aspirin. I mean, if my body has no aspirin in it, I'm not going to get a headache. That's not where headaches come from. There's a lot of different things. We can take an aspirin and the headache goes away, but it's not because lack of aspirin that I have it. There is a core reason I have the headache. And that's what I try to get across to my patients, to people when I speak, is that we need to look at the body is designed to be healthy. If we're having symptoms, something's affecting the body. We need to figure that out. Labs are the best way to do that. Blood tells the story, especially when you're looking through the lens of functional medicine, not pathology. And that's kind of where it goes. I know I jumped all over the place when it comes to sleep, but these are the things that come up. When people, this is a big problem. I mean, in the very beginning of this, I said, if I had a dime for every time I heard this, it's a big, big problem. And it's when we go back to how the body is supposed to work and put our body in that.
Would you say that are there warning signs that someone's fatigue is tied to hormones or is tied to inflammation or even gut health?
It's tied to everything.
Okay.
This is when I was a kid, we sang the song, the hip bone's attached to the knee bone bone's attached to the foot bone. I'm dating myself. I know
That's good. I love that song.
And at least somebody else has heard it, right? And so what it means is everything is tied to everything else. You cannot look at a body individually. And that's what we've done in our society is we have specialized everything. We have a cardiologist that is just looking at the heart. We have a neurologist that's just looking at the brain. A pulmonologist is just looking at the lungs. We've specialized medicine so that we're not looking at the body as a whole, or what we call holism. And that's what we need to get back to, is that everything is tied to everything else. When it comes to how these things are interrelated, does inflammation have a problem with sleep? Yes. It's a real quick example. If you're in your house and your house is on fire, you don't want to say, you know what, I'm pretty tired. I'm just going to go take a nap. I'm going to lay down here. Maybe the fire will go out. And that's, people don't realize that that's what inflammation is. Inflammation is literally a fire going on inside. It demands attention. You don't want to go take a nap while your house is burning down. So your body, if it has inflammation, it's not going to let you get into those deeper stages of sleep where your body heals. But with that, hormones, big story. Hormones control everything. Everything is related to hormone. They guide the whole body. So when we have hormonal disruption, and people think of hormones just as the sex hormones, estrogens, testosterone, progesterone, there's tons of other hormones in there. Cortisol is a big one. Cortisol is the stress hormone. When our body is running in that sympathetic state, that fight or flight, cortisol is released so that we can handle the stuff. It's impossible to lose weight. It's impossible to go to sleep when cortisol levels are high. I mean, if you just watch a really scary movie and you're on edge like this, are you going to be able to go to sleep right away?
No.
Not a chance. Cortisol levels are high. It's like somebody breaking in the house. I mean, it's like, it's like all of these things are going to be.
So you said cortisol is the stress hormone, correct?
Cortisol is the stress hormone.
And are you able to see that? Like like
Absolutely. That's something. So we can do blood tests and find out what the level of cortisol is. It's how deep do you want to go? And a normal functional doctor does tons more tests than what the insurance company. I don't blame your medical doctor on this.
Right.
They're following what the guidelines are coming from the insurance companies, from the pharmaceutical companies. There's what we call a standard of care. And the insurance companies will not pay for blood work until you've done this one. And if it's wrong, then they'll do this next one. And if it's wrong, then they'll do this next one. And there is a protocol to follow. I mean, it's not your doctor's fault. But for when somebody comes in to me to do blood work, I don't care what they say. I'm going to do what's best for my patient. And so I'm going to run a battery of tests so that I can see if the knee bone's connected to the hip bone and the hip bone's connected to everything else. I look at the body as a whole. That's the whole difference between functional medicine and typical mainstream medicine. What we call it is that functional doctors are looking at all of the systems and how they play together, not just looking at what is the heart doing today, what is the lung doing today.
I love that. So when I come in, if I'm, we'll just talk about sleep right now, but I could come in, get some blood work done. You could be able to say, hey, here's what we're seeing, and here's maybe the why that is happening, correct?
I am the why guy.
Yeah, that's really.
Some people call me the wise guy, but no, it's I'm the why guy. I need to know why things are working. I'm a very curious person. I have to dig in and find out why things happen the way they do. It's just built into me. So yes, another one that we didn't mention are adrenals. I had a patient yesterday. Had some of the worst adrenal numbers that I've ever seen in there. She's in complete adrenal exhaustion. This is not something that happens overnight. We're talking years for the adrenals to get to this level. She's wondering why she doesn't have energy, why she is so tired about everything. And so just looking at the adrenal numbers on blood work can lead us to she's not digesting food. The problem's not her adrenals, but it's that her gut is such a big problem because she's eating all of the right foods. I mean, she's listened to enough podcasts. She's eating the right food. She's on the Mediterranean diet. She's taking this supplement, that supplement. She's doing all of these things that are the right thing to do. But what she didn't realize is that her stomach acid in her gut isn't strong enough to digest the food. So even though she's putting the good stuff in her mouth, her body can't break it down. It can't absorb it. It can't get it to where it needs to go. So somebody that's spending a fortune on supplements and decent quality organic food, shopping at Sprouts and Whole Foods all of the time, eating the best stuff, is malnourished. That's a hard thing to think of in America. But when I'm looking at the numbers of the nutrition in her body, she's malnourished because she can't digest the food that goes with that. So the problem, again, wasn't the adrenals. They're just trying to do their job, but they're running out of supplies. Her problem, she's not digesting food, so all of the stuff isn't there. Her supply chain is compromised. She's not getting enough nutrition. So fixing the gut is going to fix the adrenals, which is going to fix the sleep. Now, this stuff doesn't happen overnight. We have to rebuild systems. Again, we're talking years to get to the level of having this kind of symptomatology. So what we want to do is to start to rebuild the body. Number one, the first thing I'm looking at is gut and liver. To me, those are the most important things. Can you digest food, and can you get rid of toxicity? Build those things up, then we can start doing the other things that go down that. So functional medicine isn't like taking a pill and everything goes away overnight, but it is the right way. It is the core way to get to achieve health.
That's really good.